Welcome back to MOVIEidol. So in this video, I want to give my review for episode 3 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, titled Battle of Winterfell. Or is it titled Battle of Winterfell? I keep calling it that. I'm pretty sure it's called Battle of Winterfell though. Obviously, be careful for spoilers because I'm going to be talking about pretty big events, and I mean pretty big events. Like, a few things happened in tonight's episode that really, we've been waiting for these moments for the entire series since it began in 2011, 10, around there. And so I guess where I do want to start is I just want to talk about the battle. First of all, the battle, I think visually was very, very stunning. I think some of the fog stuff, I definitely think that was a way for them to cheap out on the CGI, because I'm not sure what their budget was. I know they spent millions and millions. I think it was like 100 million. I don't know if it was for the entire episode or if it was for the season or whatnot, but I know they spent a ton already. But there was a part of me that felt like the fog was, a way to just not make it cost as much, because for the first half an hour or whatever it was, the fog was just very, very intense. But once the fog let up, once we were able to see a lot more, then the battle got really intense, and then it was very visually stunning. I think when they were fighting above the clouds, like I think it was Viserion, Daenerys, and Jon, when they were all fighting up there, that was awesome. That was really, really beautiful. I've been saying for a long time, I really wanted to get a dragon battle in this series, and as soon as Viserion died in season 7, I was like, yeah, now we can actually get it. And we did get it, kind of. Between Jon and the Night King, I guess we did get it. So I really, really love that. I'm excited that we got that. Now, as for, is this battle better than Helm's Deep? I know everyone's comparing the two right now. For me personally, I think it's way too early to say, because I obviously have a lot of nostalgia, respect for Helm's Deep. But it was like Lord of the Rings, I grew up watching that. Helm's Deep, in my eyes, has no issues. And I do think tonight's battle, like, overall had issues. Not the actual battle, but stuff related to the Night King. Melisandre does show up in tonight's episode. She's been gone for quite a while, and they, I think, utilized her character in the best way possible. I've always been wondering why she would come back. If she came back, what purpose would she serve, and how would she exit the series? Because we knew she was coming back, I just had no idea how, and they got her in and out in this episode. At the end, I guess she just withered away and died because of how old she was, because they defeated the Night King, because the dead are actually gone now and the White Walkers are dealt with. I mean, she served her god well, and I guess she just felt the need, she didn't really have a need to be around anymore. And thus, now her story is over. It is really weird. Like, she's really one of the weirder characters. I have so many questions when it comes to the Lord of the Light, because it always seemed like it was just so ridiculous. But then you get certain things that she can do that it's like, whoa, actually, maybe there's some legitimacy to what she's doing. I still overall don't like her as a person. As a character, I absolutely love her. But as a person and just what she did to Stannis' daughter and the other people she's burnt, I just, I'm glad she's gone. And it does make sense that she would be in tonight's episode, because it was the big battle. She sensed it was coming and she needed to be here to see it, and she did help Arya. She helped her in a very crucial moment. Also, I'm pretty sure the Dothraki are gone. There might be some, I'm guessing, in Essos potentially, but they're basically wiped out, and they were wiped out first. I do want to say, in the actual battle, the whole lighting the trenches thing I thought was kind of stupid, because, obviously they were just going to run through it and pile on top of each other and get through it, right? I honestly don't know why they made that a plan. Like, I'm trying to think it through. Like, if someone suggested, well, we'll just create this fire barrier all around Winterfell and now keep us protected. Didn't someone afterwards be like, well, what if a bunch of them piled over the fire and the fire went out? They would run after us. Maybe it was more of a temporary defense, but I did like the lighting of the trenches and what Melisandre did there. Visually, that was just really amazing. Again, that adds to like how visually stunning this episode was. As much as I wasn't a fan of the fog, like I was a fan of the fog earlier on, I think 10 minutes in, 15 minutes into the battle, it was kind of getting annoying, because I just didn't know what was going on. Maybe that was the point of the battle, but earlier on with all the fog, I loved how dark, I just loved the blackness of it. It was just, you didn't know what was coming at you. It was just like this dark cloud coming at you, and you're like, whoa, what is this? And obviously we knew what it was, but it was just death. It was as simple as that. It was death coming at our characters, and I thought it was a very beautiful way to start this battle. We got Jon and a dragon, which I was hoping we were going to get. We got Jon and Daenerys and the Night King. They were fighting above. I almost wanted to say the God's Eye, but that's a Dance of Dragons. I will say the fog is as annoying as it was for the battling part. It did serve a purpose in the skies, and the showrunners or the director actually made use of it and had Jon and Daenerys hit each other when they're on their dragons. They made a point in saying that, yeah, this fog is just really messing with them right now. Sadly, Ed, who was the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, died tonight, I was really upset about that one. I actually hated that he died more than Theon. I don't know why, but maybe it's because I always liked Ed, whereas with Theon, obviously I didn't like him pretty early on. Theon's death really came out of nowhere. That was super surprising. I didn't expect that to happen. Actually, all the characters that I thought were going to die in my death predictions video didn't die, I'm pretty sure. I think I suggested Jorah, potentially he was a candidate, so maybe I'm like half right there, but Brienne of Tarth didn't die. Grey Worm didn't die either. But Theon went out like a hero. I mean, who would have thought, that he was going to die by the Night King? That is such an insane death to have. Like, no one gets to die by the Night King. No one gets to have that epic of a death, and Theon had it. Theon was there for the final moments of the Army of the Dead and the Night King and how he dies. Though I kind of feel like now I'm like, maybe he should have waited by Bran, and then when the Night King walked up, then Arya came. Maybe Arya could have saved Theon's life there. I guess not, because of how it happened. Like, the Night King was so focused on Bran that when he caught Arya, I should say, when he turned around and got Arya, I thought he killed Arya, because I've been saying this all week, or for the last 3 weeks now. They are losing this battle because there's no way they're going to win, because what's going to happen next, right? And so Arya jumping up and doing that and dropping the dagger, knifing the Night King in the same exact spot the Children of the Forest did, which turned him to the Night King in the first place, that came at a surprise. That really came at a surprise. Now, I will say, when it comes to the Night King's story, I am disappointed with how it ended. I don't mind that Arya was the one to kill the Night King. I thought I had an issue with it because I wanted Jon to be the one to do it. But when I see it from the beginning of the series and I see how they chose her and what she was becoming, and you watch some of the earlier stuff in season 1 with Ned Stark, it makes a lot of sense. And I do think, like, Jon is always the hero for everything. Jon's always there doing everything. I don't really have an issue with Arya Stark actually doing it. She is one of the best fighters and she deserves that. Where I have an issue with it is with the Night King's actual story. I always thought there was going to be something more to the Night King, that he had some other motive other than just wanting to kill people. And I was hoping we were going to get something, a new reveal in his final moments. I wanted him to actually fight Jon. I wanted Jon and the Night King to just be fighting one-on-one and like this crazy battle, like fire around in a circle and everyone's watching. I know that's unrealistic, but something like that where the Night King's about to kill Jon and maybe Arya comes and saves him, or maybe, something like that. I also wanted to hear more of what the Night King was planning to do. Like when the Night King smiled in tonight's episode, I loved that. I was like, whoa, there's someone in there. Like, he's an actual person who is thinking. He got amusement out of watching Daenerys and Jon's plan fail like that. Also, I've been getting a lot of questions as to like, is the Night King a Targaryen because he survived the fire? I think it's just because he's just like so cold. Like, he's the Night King, right? Like, his skin, everything on him is just ice, and he's like literally the coldness of death. And I think there's that combined with all the magic he has. And, it makes sense that he survived that. I don't think he's a Targaryen. Lyanna Mormont died in tonight's episode, and she went out like a hero. She took out a giant. I was actually hoping in that moment that she was going to kill that giant and that she would also die as well. Just because I was like, this battle is so gruesome and it's so, it's so down to earth, and it's very realistic, right? And I was thinking, like, I'm going to eye roll if she kills this giant and survives. Just because, maybe it would just be out of nowhere, but it would make no sense. But she does kill him, gets her bones and everything crushed in the process, and then dies because of it. And all of that was realistic. If you go rewatch that scene, it's brutal. Like, she's definitely a hero. With Jorah dying as well, I'm wondering, are there any Mormonts left? Also, the crypts of Winterfell, all the dead Starks, I'm guessing, broke out of their tombs. Is that what happened? Because they were in the crypts, right? And only Starks are allowed to be buried in the crypts. So obviously, I don't think Ned Stark broke out of there, because I think they would have showcased that a lot more. But there was just like historic Starks that were fighting them, which is pretty brutal. I love that scene between Tyrion and Sansa. I really do want both of them together, I think, at the end. It seems like they were really close there, and they're hinting at something, but the reason why they could never really be together is because, just like Sansa said, you support the Dragon Queen. And I feel like he doesn't really support the Dragon Queen, because I think he still supports the Lannisters more. I think he just doesn't support Cersei. But if Cersei's pregnant, that's going to heavily affect Tyrion's leadership or his counseling of Daenerys. And so I think there's a way for Sansa and Tyrion to be together at the end. And I think that would be really fascinating, because I guess Tyrion would be a part of Winterfell, right? I would really like that. But overall, I really liked tonight's episode. I really, really enjoyed tonight's episode. There's a lot of Easter eggs to stuff in the past. Arya tells Sansa to like kill him with the pointy end. That was like a reference to what Jon told Arya back. I think it was in season 1. Oh, obviously it was in season 1. Beric died. That was super sad. A bunch of other characters died. I still want to know who exactly died. I really don't know. I think that was kind of my big complaint, is how this battle ended. It just felt like we were building up to something really, really amazing. And yes, the Night King's death and how it happened, I loved how that scene played out. I just wish that there would have been a little bit more and not have it just so quiet like that. I wish Jon would have at least been able to fight the Night King, and then maybe he loses, and then the Night King goes after Bran, or something just different happen. I wish we just would have got like 10 more minutes with him, had him talk. I guess he just can't talk. Something there. And also just how the episode ended overall. I'm okay with not getting that much of an aftermath, but after the Night King dies and everyone starts to shatter, it pretty much just ends right after that. Like, I wish we would have got just a little bit more there. I think this episode could have been about 20 minutes longer, and I think with a battle of this size, it needed to be, especially with a big episode like this, because they dealt with the Night King. You know what I mean? Because now the last 3 episodes are just dealing with Cersei. I watched the trailer for episode 4. I'm going to do a trailer breakdown right after this, and I'll give my thoughts on it then, but yeah, they're just going after Cersei now. The Night King just isn't a thing, and now we're just gonna be moving on now, I guess. That's why I kind of feel disappointed and a little underwhelmed, because we've been building to this moment for years and years and years now, and it just happened like that, and it happened so fast. We barely got anything with the Night King. I'm just a little, yeah, I mean, it was good what we got. I don't know. I'm a little underwhelmed, but post your thoughts down below. What did you think of tonight's episode? Stay tuned for my trailer breakdown for episode 4. We only have 3 more episodes left. That's pretty insane. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.